Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, indeed.
They just signed over with Charlamagne's, or partnered up with Charlamagne's.
We partnered.
Black Effect Network. We have the brothers from Earn Your Leisure. What's up, brothers?
What's going on?
How's everything?
Good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. So if you don't know, break down who both of you individuals are individually and how you guys got together.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Rashad, my partner Troy.
Yeah.
So we started Earn Your Leisure's financial literacy business platform, and it really started like 2 years ago. The quick story is I'm a financial advisor by trade. Troy is my best friend in life. He's a teacher, and he was teaching in the Bronx, and he was always trying to get me to go into the school and teach to the kids, and I'm like, I never understood why he wanted to be a teacher. That's like an inmate breaking back into jail. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he used to tell me every time, like, yo, you went to school your whole life to go back? That don't even make no sense. I'm like, nah. I was like, nah, we got a mission we got to be on.
That's a fact. But now, long story short, I taught the kids and, really just realized how important financial literacy was, how much like people didn't know. And even me being a financial advisor working with clients, realized how people didn't know anything about finances at all. So that led to us developing a 6-week program in the summer for kids. Yeah. And then that led to just online and what we got now.
Yeah, so.
I love talking to y'all. I love listening to y'all simply because y'all know what the fuck y'all talking about. No, I'm serious, man. So many people don't know what they talking about, but they try to sound financially literate and they just stupid. So it's good to have people from the culture who know how to talk finances. How did y'all figure out a way to intertwine it so that messaging is digestible for people?
Yeah, I mean, it was commonplace for us, really. I'm coming from an education background, so finance wasn't my thing. And so I would be in conversations with him and a couple of other friends, and it's like, you never want to be the guy that can't be in the conversation. And so you got to go back and learn. And so when we started talking like that, it was like, all right, this is cool. And then we started teaching kids, like he said, and then we realized like the kids were learning, but they were also telling their parents. So it was like, oh, wait, we can teach two people at the same time, right? If I teach a kid something, he goes home, now the parents know. And so when we started talking about the podcast, Shai was doing like interviews on other people's platforms, and they were like, wait, this is really good stuff. Like, where's the extended dialogue? Like, do you have your own? And so he came one day, we was at my house, and he was like, yo, you want to start a podcast? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so right away, we were like, we're going to make it in our language because that's what we do. That's how we talk, right? We don't have perfect diction. We don't sound like we came from the Wharton Business School. No disrespect to anybody that went there, but it was like, there's more people that sound and look like us. So we're going to those people will gravitate to us, and that was really the plan.
Yeah, I always say, like, I had to learn business, but I didn't have to learn culture. I am the culture.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just natural for us. This is how we grew up, listening to rap music. We grew up on rap. We grew up playing sports. So it's natural. I feel like you have to work hard to try to be something that you're not. We just embrace who we are. So, we talk about finance. We talk finance. We wear our own merch, sweaters, hoodies, sneakers. We're not trying to be like, ascots and all that. No disrespect to anybody that does that, but that's
all business, no suits.
That's not who I am. Like, that's not who we are. So the people just really resonated to it because it's like for a long time, anybody talking finance, you had to say you went to an Ivy League school. You had to have a 3-piece suit on, especially if you was black. You had to like go overboard just to kind of get some credibility. But for us, they see us talking just like we're in a barbershop, but it's high-level finance. So it's interesting, and it's like, okay, and then we bring entrepreneurs and investors on that know what they're talking about, like DJ Envy, alumni, like
alumni himself.
So it's just the whole vibe.
How'd y'all get the name Earn Your Leisure? What did that mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. So when he was starting his own campaign, Shai was starting his own campaign, he was like, yo, I need a hashtag to go with my campaign about financial literacy. And so like it was his thing. We were like, yo, if he's gonna make it, let's just make sure he makes it. And if he wins, we all win. And so he was like, yo, I need a hashtag. And I was like, okay, I got one for you. I was like, Earn Your Leisure. And he's kind of like, nah, that's whack, man. I'm like, nah, it makes sense because it's like where we from, people have seen us growing up. They've seen us have nice cars. They've seen us have the prettiest girls. They see us going on vacation. They don't realize the hard work. They don't realize how many conversations we sat in the car like, what are we going to do? They didn't see us going to school at night. They didn't see us working 2 jobs. They never saw all of that. They just saw the end result. But that's so many people, right? Everybody sees the end result. Nobody sees the hard work. So I'm like, Earn Your Leisure. That's what it has to be because it makes so much sense that we've earned these luxuries. We've earned this freedom. We got to go with it. And so he was using it as a hashtag, and then everybody was catching on, and he stopped. And everybody, like, one of our boys, shout out to Spence, he was like, why'd you stop? I really thought that was dope. And so he was like, you really liked it? All right, I'm going to start using it again. And so when he had to come up with a name for the podcast, we had two want to tell them the name you have for it?
Yeah, I wanted to do Money, Power, Respect, but I felt like
NPR, that would be a good play on it.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Diddy would have been calling us
Yeah,
though.
Diddy probably would have wanted half of the publishing.
Yeah, I had my title was "Dumb Rappers Need Teaching," just a double entendre of it. And again, Diddy probably would have came at us for half the publishing. And so we were like, you know what? Let's just use the hashtag that we have, Earn Your Leisure. That's ours. Nobody's using it. And we went and it just ran.
Now, we're getting some of these guests. How do you realize or how do you figure out who's telling the truth and who's not? Because I know we've both been in the industry before where people say they do something, then you look in the history, like, you ain't really do nothing. So how do you, we actually had somebody on the show before that was, I didn't bring him up here. Charlamagne didn't bring him up here.
You might as well say the person's name.
Nah,
You gonna do that? You gonna do that?
But they didn't know what they were talking about. Had no clue, no idea. They even called my partner and asked him to borrow some of his homes to act like they his. But that's another situation.
Oh, I thought you were talking about somebody else. Now
That's
I know
the
you're talking
person
about.
I'm talking about. That's the person I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I think you're talking about the woman.
No.
Okay, yeah. I know you're talking about-
Her too. But how do you? Charlamagne brought her up.
No,
But
I
how
did
do
not.
you? Yes, you did. But how do you go between who's telling the truth and who's not? How do y'all do your due diligence?
Yeah, I mean, we try to do as much research as we possibly can, especially now. God, fortunately, God has provided us with a huge platform at this point, so it's a lot easier. But sometimes it's difficult because it's like everybody has different opinions and different stories. So you might hear one story from one person, another story from another person. The unfortunate thing for us is that we're a media platform, but we're a black media platform. So people hold us to the highest level possible. Somebody can go on CNBC, somebody can go on anywhere. They come on Earn Your Leisure, something comes out bad, they attacking the bros because they feel like they know us personally. They would never call CNBC or ABC. So to answer your question, I mean, we do as much research as we possibly can, really try to vet people. And but to be completely honest with you about it, sometimes you don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get a good feel for somebody and then something might come out later on. And then I think you just got to take the steps at that point to correct it. If it's an issue, you know what I'm saying, take it down or, you know what I'm saying, go through that because nobody's perfect. But we definitely, I think, have done a good job. But, like I said, sometimes some people aren't who they say they are, for sure. That's a fact.
And another thing I love the podcast is I get to, because a lot of this stuff is you don't learn growing up, right? I went to college. They don't teach you this in college. There's certain things they don't teach you. My daughter's finally, her major is real estate and investing in real estate. But like the brother that was on there, I'm looking for now, the guy with trucking, right?
Oh, Alex.
Shout out to
Alex, good energy.
Right.
That's our guy.
So when you go to the podcast, there's so many different brothers. It's not just real estate. It's not just stocks. It's different brothers and different people from our community that's making money. Now, there's one brother, the reason it intrigued me so much is because during the quarantine and pandemic, everything was shut down. But this brother was still making money because the roads were up, because his trucks were delivering food and delivering, Pampers and delivering supplies to all these different places. And he continued to make money, but his initial investment wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that you got a teaching people these things is what makes me love this podcast so much.
What's so crazy that you say that is shout out to Alex, and it's a great networking tool. So for us, I feel like we get to network with some of the brightest minds in every single industry. Like he said, stocks, real estate, trucking. It's not just one thing specific. So, and then of course we would be stupid if we didn't utilize those resources. So we got our truck. We just got our truck. Shout out to Alex. He's holding our hand through it. We got an 18-wheeler out in Atlanta with our emojis on it. EYL University, Earn Your Leisure, all plastered inside. Wow. So it's crazy. Just like MG, the mortgage guy. Shout out to MG.
Matt been up here.
Yeah, we about to get a bunch of real estate properties with Matt. He's helping us out, like stock, Wall Street Trapper. So a lot of the people that we actually develop relationships with are actually mentoring us and helping us actually. So we're learning as we go too. So this trucking thing is so interesting because it's like coming from New York. I never looked at owning a truck as a viable option. Like, I just saw trucks on the road, but you never think about like
Get out the way.
who actually owns the truck.
Crazy, because growing up down south, that's what it was about. Get your CDL license, be a truck driver.
Yeah, New York was different.
But we're not talking about driving. We're talking about owning.
Truck,
but that's the point. You get your CDL, then you buy a truck. Like Wax brother owned a couple of trucks.
Yeah, but these brothers out there doing. Now, what was your favorite podcast, if you had to say one, the one that was the most enlightened? And I take mine out of it. I know mine are probably top 5. You know what I mean? But besides mine, what was your favorite podcast where you learned the most about things?
Ooh, wow, I think Matt's episode was crazy because he was talking about real estate, and we were sitting in my house, and that strategy he had talked about creating that 4-3-2-1, right? Live in one apartment, rent out the third, go on to the next thing, live in 3-bedroom or 3 apartments, live in one, rent out the 2. And I'm sitting in my house like, wait, this is an amazing strategy. Like, nobody told us this, right? And so, like, his was important to me just because we filmed it in my house when he's talking about these strategies. I think Wall Street Trappers episode 44 was important. Alex, Mobile Homes. It was the first couple that we had
Mobile
on.
Homes was dope,
And that was something that I had never thought. So trucks was something we never thought about. But the only time we spoke about Mobile Homes is when we looked at 8 Mile. It was like, yo, that's 8 Mile. That's trailer park trash. And it was like, this is a business. And so when
That
they came,
or the only time, Charlamagne cut a hole in his mobile home and would masturbate through that hole.
What is this guy talking?
You never did that?
That never. Well, it did happen, but it didn't happen in that way. Like it was just like he just said it
Go ahead,
so
continue
crazy.
on, brother. Go ahead, continue
That's
on.
not
brother.
exactly what happened.
so that episode was so important because first it was the first couple and we got to watch them grind from the bottom and make it to get in mobile homes. But the most important thing is when we did that, it was like a year and a half ago, they had spoke about their ambition to own a park one day. And so a year later, not only did they get a park, they own 4 parks.
Wow.
And so we got to watch the growth. We sat with them in the hood in Chicago and watched them grow their business and their personal life. And it's like, this is incredible. Like, this is what we need to see. And then back to the part when you said that we're not taught about this. Being in education, I'm sitting in the school knowing that these kids are not going to learn any of the things that I'm talking about. So at a certain point, it was like, are we complicit in this? And so we had to make the decision. Like you said, in the summer, it was like, we're going to teach the kids the things that they didn't learn in school. So we taught those 6 weeks like it was the 10 months of school that they never got. And now we're starting to see the offsprings of that. We're seeing 14-year-olds wanting to get into the vending machine business, which is incredible. We're seeing kids talking about trucking because they saw us do it. It's incredible. So the trajectory of their lives are going to change forever because of something that we thought of and had an idea. I would say that it started with an idea in an iPhone, and now look what it's turned into.
Do you think the black community is beginning to receive enough access to financial literacy?
Absolutely. I feel like financial literacy is a snowball that's turned into an avalanche. Envy, I've been to Envy seminar. It was 2,500 people in Jersey. Then they did that same night they did 1,500. That's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's only getting bigger. So our platform is definitely, I don't think if we started our platform 5 years ago, it wouldn't have taken off the way it had. It was just perfect timing. And financial literacy is in season right now. Even if you look at the rappers like Meek Mill talking about buy crypto and buy stocks. You hear Rick Ross talking about entrepreneurship more than he talks about music these days. So like financial literacy is something that is extremely, extremely in vogue right now in our community, and it's a good thing, and hopefully it's here to stay.
But it scares me though. I'm gonna tell you why it scares me. It scares me when people say things and tell people things and they don't know the knowledge of everything, right? Because if you follow a rapper or you follow your favorite celebrity and they tell you to do something, you jumped out there and do it and don't know what you're talking about, you get got. You know what I mean? So that scares me a little bit when somebody just says, go buy cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? And then
That's why I was laughing. Like,
you know what I mean? That's scary. You know what I mean? If you don't break down what to do, it can hurt rather than help.
And you know what? And it's crazy that you say that, and that's a valid point. And that's why I think that I told you this on the phone. The financial literacy people and the investors and the entrepreneurs, they have to be championed just like rappers, because you shouldn't really be getting, no disrespect to rappers, a lot of, but 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't be getting your financial advice from a rapper.
That's right.
But we hold them to such high regards that if they tell us to do something, we'll do it. But they're not really in a position to give that kind of advice because that's not really what they have been trained to do. Yeah. So the entrepreneurs and the investors are going to be the new superstars. They're going to be the new rock stars, and they're going to be championed because I feel like during the pandemic, our platform skyrocketed. And it's crazy because it's like at the beginning of March, remember they said like if you wasn't an essential worker, you couldn't go outside. So I feel like we got deemed as essential workers, not by the government, by the people. Because it's like when you down on your luck, this matters. A lot of rappers had to cancel their shows. They wasn't getting no money because they realized that they wasn't essential. No disrespect, it's good entertainment, but that's not essential. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like even when I look at your legacy, like I told you, I look at your legacy more so as a media mogul, not a radio personality. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Envy, when he's done, he's going to be remembered more as a Don Peebles. You know what I'm saying? A black billionaire real estate developer. That's going to be more, he's impacting more people with real estate than he is with playing music. No disrespect to his music, 25 years, but he probably tell you, nobody's, like they saying he changed his life because he bought a home. So we have to really focus in on financial literacy and take it very serious and elevate those people because these are the leaders of this generation. Because I don't care how fast you can run, eventually you got to retire. Right. A rapper's career is like a running back. It's 3 years maximum.
If you're lucky.
I wonder if guys like Don Peebles do the community a disservice by not having more public conversations. I mean, this is a brother that owns damn near half of LA, is almost a billionaire, if not a billionaire. And it's just like, why people don't know who Don Peoples is?
Because he's not championed by our community, right? If you're in the know, you know him. But if you don't, you don't, right? And it's like you said, we champion rappers and entertainers because that's what we inspire to be. That's what's been shown to us since we were 6. It was like, that's the only way to become wealthy. And what Shotty's saying is correct. We're teaching people there's a whole nother avenue, right? There's 120 different avenues. We got that many episodes to showing you that there's so many different ways to do it. And so I always live by that point that in order, everybody wants to be us, we just got to see us, right? And so people haven't seen Don Peoples. This probably, nobody even knows what he looks like.
Don't even know who he is.
Or who he is, right? But when you see a guy like Alex, you see a Wall Street Trapper, or you see pick one, Mobile Homes Elite, you can be them. And you can make money. So like I listen to a rapper, it's a transactional relationship. I buy your music, I get entertained. You listen to a podcast, you get the information, you apply it, you make money. It's a totally different transaction.
And it's also the culture too. And it's like, I feel like for a lot of times, not Don Peoples, but there was a different level of like black success versus everybody else. And it was a gap. But now when we see like you said, a lot of people probably never even heard his name before. But how many rappers come up here and like, yo, Envy, I just bought a property because they know him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he's of the culture, he speaks the language, dresses, wears nice stuff, nice watches and stuff like that. So it's important for people to relate to somebody. And that's the good thing with our podcast too, because it's like we got people that did time in jail, we got people that went to Harvard and anywhere in between. And it's like, somebody can identify with somebody, but if there's only one projection of success where it's like, you know, you have to go to Howard University, you have to have curly hair, and it's like, you in the neighborhood, you might not be able to relate to that.
Right.
So you just kind of automatically tune out and say it's not possible. But now you're seeing so many different people, like even Caesar, he went to jail. Like that's a success story. Like, you know what I'm saying? He went to jail, came back, rehabilitated his life, and now he owns all of Patterson, New Jersey. Yeah. So how many people in his neighborhood can say, oh, if he can do it, I know I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's complete opposite, right? If he's a basketball star, I know I don't have any talent in basketball. Do I have value in my neighborhood anymore? If I can't play football, if I can't entertain, do I have value?
Of course.
Right? And there's so many kids who are not in that area of expertise or talent, and it's like, well, this is something you can do. Right, you can start your own business. So we got to talk to kids about that. We got to show them, like, this is what legacy looks like. This is what generational wealth looks like. These are things that you can change your family's life. Even at the age of 14, we had a young kid, Spurgo. At the age of 14, he's selling T-shirts in Philly. Right. Turns it into $1 million business and retires his mom. I just spoke to him with the kids at my old school in the Bronx. They're looking at it like, wait, he's my age? Yeah, he's your age, and this is what he did with his birthday money, $171, invests in T-shirts, goes to barbershops every Saturday, says, guys, this is my T-shirts, I'm trying to sell it. The guys in the neighborhood looking like, I like this kid. Listen, I'm going to make sure that you sell out every Saturday.
Wow.
Every Saturday he goes to the barbershops, he sells them out. That turns into his own store. Now he's a landmark in the city of Philadelphia.
He's a legend.
He's a legend. 14 years old.
But I think what you said is the key. Like, you know, when you look at these kids, even growing up, like what did you want to be like? You wanted to be like a rapper. You wanted to be like a basketball player. Yeah. You know, that drug dealer down the block influenced me more than my teacher did. Why? Because they did the things that I want to do. And that's why even with myself and with y'all, I never change up. Like, I buy my watches, I buy my jewelry, I buy my cars, but I do it and I'm like, I didn't have to sell drugs to do that. Right. I didn't play basketball to do that. This is what I did, and I try to break it down because a lot of people don't break it down. Like, you know, no disrespect to Peoples, but he doesn't look like me. He's black, but he doesn't look like me. He doesn't wear what I wear. He doesn't dress what I dress. So I'm not, to a kid, it's like he can't relate to that. A kid could relate for me from Queens shopping on Jamaica Avenue or going to Patterson to get some stuff. So they can't relate to that. That's the difference, I say. And that's why I always say keep doing what you do it the way that you do it. Yeah. Now, let me ask you one thing that, you know, I know that I had a problem with, but people don't trust black people right away. They'll trust Grant Cardone all day long. They'll trust all these white podcasts talking about finances.
Is that why you come off as Dominican? You want more trust?
Shut up. But did you have that problem at first as well? Like, where people don't necessarily trust their own at first?
Nah, you know what's so crazy? Honestly, nah, bro. And shout out to my man Derek Falcon, and he said something. Focus your attention on the people that are interested in you. So it's like, even if somebody wasn't really paying us attention like that, we was just focusing on the people that was interested in us. And then after a while, it's like you can't deny the truth. They see, like, I'm a financial advisor. I've been a financial advisor for 12 years. So, like, you know how everybody always says, like, this isn't financial advice. I'm literally a financial advisor. So, and it's like our background and the things that people that we meet, it all speaks for itself. So you can't deny the truth. I don't care whether it's black, green, yellow, or whatever. And I'm gonna tell you this too, as far as black culture, you know, we move culture all over the world. So when you see, you know, kids in France singing Jay-Z's lyrics, but they don't even speak English, it's because they just look for black people, black men especially as inspiration. It's no different with financial literacy. Earn your leisure. You know how many people hit us up in London? I love your content, but can you talk more about what's going on in UK, because it's different. And in my brain, I'm like, they don't have nothing like this in the UK. They asking somebody in America because they looking at us as leaders. So I kind of reverse that engineering, where it's like a lot of times people say like people don't trust black people, but I don't really know, but I feel like people love black people, and they want them to be leaders. They waiting for the black man to rise up. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's real.
But we can't take
spot.
advantage of our community, and a lot of us, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of us, but a lot of people do that. That's the only reason why I started doing the seminars. Because I was looking at somebody that looked like me charging people $10,000 for a seminar. And I'm like, you can't be for the people if you're charging people $10,000 for that knowledge when they could take that $10,000 and buy their first crib. And I hated that. And we just did that really to piss him off, and it just took off from there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We watched it.
I mean, the truth, I just did it to piss him off and to get people help, and then it just took off. But I just didn't like the fact that you could charge somebody $10,000 and they could use that $10,000 and buy a crib. You know what I mean? Instead of getting the knowledge that you're not really giving them.
I think what you bring up is a good point, because there's a thin line between, in the financial literacy community, some people are saying like, you should never charge, you should charge, whatever. Like, I personally feel like you could always be able to charge for your services, because it's like when Nipsey Hussle put out a $100 mixtape, he got championed.
That's right.
And I love Nipsey, one of the biggest Nipsey fans in the world. But I mean, it's music at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, not at first he didn't get championed, because I was a big Nip fan. I'm like, Nip, I ain't paying $100 for you. I love you, but no.
But you didn't bash him.
No.
You just didn't buy it.
Yeah.
So financial literacy, I feel like if you write a book, if you have a course, like they charge $100 for that, that's reasonable. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got a university where we have 300 webinars for $500 for the entire year. That's reasonable. If you charging $50,000, if you're really trying to pillage the community, that has to be addressed, because now you're taking advantage of people. So I feel like you can definitely charge for your expertise, because that's what books are, right?
Yeah.
But it has to be done tastefully, and you have to make sure that you add value. So
if you're gonna pay $50, I'll tell you to go to school.
Bro, no, people are paying that.
Go to
People
school.
paying $30,000 to $50,000 for these seminars, and they getting got.
But that's an issue too. It's like you're going to pay $50,000 to go to school, right? But you're not even going to think, hey, I'm going to pay $5,000 for that course. Whereas that course can actually generate you more than the $50,000 that you would have paid to go to Harvard or any of these prestigious schools. So that's in itself is an issue.
Let me ask you this, Envy, because you're a leader in the financial literacy movement, and I know that's what you said on our podcast too. As far as like a lot of people some people take advantage of every community, but especially, you know what I'm saying. So what do you think would be good? Like, do you think a council is needed to vet people properly? Like, cause what do you think the solution is?
I think the good brothers just need to keep spreading the word. You know what I mean? And I think once we continue to spread the word, people will understand not to go to that fake side. You know what I mean? Whoever it may be, whether it's podcasts, whether it's people doing seminars or webinars or talking, and realize that somebody, just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you have the actual knowledge. You know what I mean? Somebody could ask me 1,000,001 things about real estate. I probably can answer 90% of it because I actually do it. You know what I mean? Remember we were talking on August, and I was trying to buy that house. I went through hell for that house. I bought that house 6 months later, but I had to fight that house. I had to fight for it. I had to, file a list pendant. I had to do all types of things, but I know about it, and I try to teach. Anybody around here that's ever had a house or thing like, I try to guide them, because I got God. I had to pay 12% interest rates before. I had, extra points on my shit, like all types of shit that I went through as a real estate person. So like Dramos, for instance, he usually sits here. I helped him buy his crib. Steph Cakes, who's a DJ up here, I'm helping her get her shit. Because I want to help people. It's no fun to be living in a neighborhood by yourself.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing, right? To answer your question about interview, or even what y'all do, success stories, right? Whoever has the most success stories is ultimately going to come out on top.
Because that's why I said the information is going, and the product's going to sell itself, right? We can give 120 episodes for free. We can be on Instagram every day for free. Some people need more of attention, right? They might need a private education. And so we look at it like that, like this is public and that's the private education. So like what y'all doing, we looked at it and like, this is great. How do we emulate that? Right?
And like, I could have probably went to the seminar for free, Matt. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
He
we
probably could
paid.
have got us in, but I'm paying.
We paid.
I'm gonna pay. Like I'm not going. I know they put a lot of work into that. Even just learning to say something. Like they got a Lord of the Slums up there. Like you know what I'm saying? Fernando, you
Our
can't
guy.
play with him like he's a legend. People don't even know who he is. He came on our podcast, one of the dopest episodes for me. Like he's a legend. Sabine.
Why they call him Lord of the Slums?
Because he's in Patterson and he owns like half a pass a play on words, but
Jesus Christ.
Literally, half of Patterson, for real.
But even the people that we have speak at our seminar, like Jose, the credit dude who
Our guy.
fixes
Shout out to
people's
Jose.
That's our
credit.
guy.
When he came on the show, he had $300 in his bank account, had no money, and never spoke before in front of a crowd. But he helped me and helped a couple of people do their credit, and I was like, I want you to speak. Same thing with Matt. Matt has never spoken in front of a crowd at all. He called me, he's like, yo, should I wear a suit? And I'm like, yo, bro, you're a black dude that help people get loans. Like, just tell your story. You ain't got to wear no suit, and it boosts his business. Like, I try to help people in that. Even Sabine, attorney. She's never spoken in front of people, but we try to give them an opportunity and jobs so that people can continue on and teach their family and build our own Black Wall Street.
And stop discounting the value of black entrepreneurs because we do that all the time. And like people say like we want discounts and all that. It's like if somebody put together a seminar and like stop doing that. Stop trying to get in for free. Stop trying to if you gonna go support and learn something. Like you know what I'm saying? Because we got no problem going to these state schools and paying $40,000 for student loans and you can't even get a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? A black entrepreneur that put together a course for $100, an ebook for $59, and you like haggling them about it. Either buy it or don't. But stop being cheap on your education because it's like we interviewed Mark Cuban yesterday. Shout out to Mark, good dude.
Solid.
And I asked him like, how often do you invest in your education? He said, every day, all day. That's all I do. I buy ebooks, I buy courses, I buy books. And this guy's already up $4 billion. And he's like, I got to stay up to date with every single thing. He's talking about crypto, AI, all of that stuff. So stop discounting that. This is just a broader conversation in general. But we got to stop discounting the value of our entrepreneurs. It happens all the time. Like even like when we spoke to Derek and it's like the kid in the neighborhood that's 6'9", you know what I'm saying, that can dribble, that's 14 years old, you keeping him out of trouble. Make sure he gets home. Don't let anything happen to him. But the young entrepreneur that's out on the streets, you know what I'm saying, selling nachos, you throwing him to the wolves.
Good luck.
You know what I'm
Figure it
saying?
out.
Like, stop doing that because it's like, you know what I'm saying, these is brilliant minds. Like even the water boys in the land, they just need some direction. They need some help. They need some, but stop just throwing them to the wolves and like get out of here and just because it's like you're discouraging them. And then when they turn to the streets, it's because they got no support.
Yeah.
Imagine if LeBron, if every game he went to, they was like, yo, you suck, get out of here. He's gonna be discouraged. He's never gonna be able to grow. But when people encourage him, like, yo, you're gonna be the star. You're gonna be the next one. Can I ride with you? Can I ride in the car with you? But he don't have no money yet, but you already thinking 10 years in advance.
Yeah.
Treat the entrepreneur the same way.
Yeah,
we gotta do that.
our most talented, we try to give our least talent too, right? So like when that entrepreneur is done,
Say that again, brother Troy. That was a word. Say that again. Repeat that.
Our most talented, we tend to give our least talented too, right? So it's like your cousin who just came home from jail, he need a job. Can you hire him, right? But that wouldn't be the same case if he went to a 5-star restaurant. You'd be saying, look, are you Michelin certified? Right, so we got, like what Shai said, we got to hoard around our talent and make sure they make it, right? The kid who's understanding cryptocurrency or who's understanding coding, right? We need to clamor around him. We can't just say like this kid's going to the NBA. We gotta make sure he makes it. But even back to your point, what you said about working together, everybody that you named at that seminar, we sat there and watched and said, all right, we're gonna give them a platform too. We didn't say like, hey, Emmy has those people. We said we got to give them a platform too. So everybody that you named from your seminar, we've given them a platform. They've been on the podcast. That brings more business to them. So that's how you grow. That's how you grow.
Group economics.
Yeah.
We could have said like, nah, Envy got them. They rock on him. Nah, we were like, look, Matt's great. Fernando's great.
But
Envy and Caesar are great.
That's what we built with Earn Your Leisure as a
Exactly.
family. That's why Matt loves us. Like Matt always posts us all the time. You would think that he was us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like Matt had 3,000 followers when I met him. I ain't say like you have to have verified to come on the podcast. Come on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? He had 40,000 followers within the next 10 days. So he's a very loyal person. He never forgot that. Anybody, credit dude, we hit credit dude. We need you to do something. No problem, bro. What we need to do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, he got COVID right now. He ain't doing that.
Yeah, shout out to
that's
get
crazy.
well soon.
He
Get well
actually
soon.
did our seminar and he was saying he was sick. We were like, oh man, I hope he's all right. The next day, he said he had COVID.
How long ago was this? How long ago was this?
No. That was like 2 months ago.
It's virtual. It's all virtual.
That was like 2 months ago.
No. It was virtual.
I took the test.
They made sure we sent the test results up there. Now we good.
Jose, get well soon, bro.
We love you, bro. Sabine too. Even Sabine, she's our lawyer now. That's from
we got to keep teaching teaching the youth, and even when it's difficult. I never told the story. So they stole my car a couple of months ago, right?
Which one?
The Rolls truck. They stole my Rolls truck.
Damn.
Ooh, color.
And the young kids that stole it was like 15, 16, 17, right?
Yeah.
Small world got back to me. And I was upset, and I was like, and I tried to get a meeting with the young boys. I didn't care about the car, but my whole concern was, you guys are stealing these cars, making this money, right? When does it stop? Take this money and let me show you how to make money off of this money. Because you're gonna fuck around and gonna rob the wrong person, and they're gonna kill you. You're gonna go to jail forever. So let me show you how to make money with this. And that's the conversation I'm trying to have with these youth. You know what I mean? At first I was mad. I was like, fuck that. But then it was like, I thought about it. I'm like, yo, it's a pandemic. Like, these kids don't have nothing. They fucked up.
What if you would have said, I was about to flip this money as soon as I sold your truck? This is the truck I needed. This is the truck I needed to get that money.
And he pulled a Frank White. Like, Bob, come in, man. Let me give you a job.
But that's what it was. And I was like, let me teach y'all how to make money. Like, you robbing, you taking cars, you make what, $10,000? Let me show you how to take this $10,000, buy a property. You live on one floor, rent out the top 2 floors. Now you always will have this property. You ain't got to worry about it. And you continue to do it. But that's what I'm trying to do now, is to really help these youth. I was mad they took my car, little bastards, but I just want them to start investing, because I don't want to see none of them hurt and shot.
So to Envy's point, what is the smartest investment for a beginner? Is it real estate? Is it stocks?
I mean,
like, what is it?
Envy might be different, but for me, stocks. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my love. That's been my passion. I feel like you can invest in stocks for $500, $300. Like, that's the easiest way to go about it. And it's like, a lot of times people was like, it's like double dutch, which stock to buy. But it's a thing called ETFs, exchange traded funds, which is kind of like a basket of stocks. So like in one ETF, QQQ, right? It have Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Google, Nvidia, PayPal, Adobe, all in one. I think it's like $320, something like that right now for one share of QQQ. So you can literally just invest in that, and you got all of those companies. And the great thing with the stock market is that you actually are investing in actual real companies. Like, I love crypto, but let's be honest. If cryptocurrency disappeared today, life would not change at all. If the stock market we're in trouble.
Big trouble.
Because that's every company. That's all of these, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. Like, if all of those companies went away overnight, we'd be on some I Am Legend type vibe. So for me, I think stocks is the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the ETF route is super powerful, because we like to frame things in the term of sports. And so if you ever think of the All-Star team, we like to break it down like that. You got LeBron James, that's comparable to Apple, and you got the Western Conference All-Stars, right? LeBron's on this team, right? So Apple's inside of QQQ. If LeBron has a bad night, this singular stock, like that Apple, that's going to go down, right? But if LeBron has a bad night, you still got AD on the team, right? You still had Steph Curry on the team. They can carry us. And so when he's saying the ETF, it leaves the amount of risk that you would have if you had a singular stock. Most people try to figure out what should I invest in. These things look around you. You have an iPhone? Yeah. You use Microsoft? Yeah.
Don't complicate it.
Don't complicate it. You pay Verizon every month? It's there, right? All you got. Do you shop on Amazon? Have you been buying from Wayfair and going to Home Depot during the pandemic? Those are all companies that you can own. So I had this conversation with somebody from Foot Locker. I was like, how many pair of sneakers you got? Like 10,000. How much money do you think that is? How much Nike stock do you have? None. Wait, you could have actually had Nike buy your sneakers for you, right? If you would have invested in that stock when it was $90 in the pandemic, it's at $140 now. They would have bought you sneakers. But we're not thinking like that. We're always taught to be consumers rather than investors. And so we gotta. That's what we're doing, is like changing that mindset. It starts with the mindset, right? It could be. You could say real estate is the best way. We could say stocks, but first is the mindset. And so once we start changing that mindset and getting people thinking about investing in ownership rather than consumerism, we're gonna see a dynamic shift, and we're starting to see it now.
What's the difference between an ETF and an S&P 500?
So that's an index fund. So you've been doing your research, huh?
Yeah.
So an index is the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500. So when they say like the market is up, the market is down, they're not talking about every single stock on the market. They're talking about either the Dow Jones or the S&P 500, maybe the Russell 2000. So the S&P 500 is 500 companies, like a microcosm of the market. So they got some consumer discretion, some tech, some auto, and they come all together for 500. So you can also, that's another way to go as well. That's more broad range. So that's like all different areas. The ETF is just one particular area. So like there's marijuana ETF. So like YOLO, MJ, Canopy Grow. All of those stocks are in like a marijuana ETF. So the index is like buying a whole grocery store. The ETF is like buying one aisle in the grocery store.
Yeah, because I thought I was doing something. I was talking to Rashad, because my financial guy, salute to my dude Humble. During the pandemic, he told me to buy a certain amount of stock, right? So I bought it, and then some months later, you see an extra 120 grand, and you're like, oh shoot. Rashad was like, yeah, but you could have made something. I'm like, what?
we got to talk after this.
Yeah, but that's the truth, and that's what we do a lot of times. Like a lot of those people, they put millions into that thing, but we put a couple of 100,000 or a couple of thousand in there, and we walk away. Like somebody told me the other day, she was like, yeah, I put 300 into it, and they made 1,500, and I'm like, that's great. But now, you got to think of it. Let's imagine if we put, 3 million into it. You know what I mean?
Break down the difference, Rashad, between stock options and the S&P 500.
Oh, that's what everybody want to know.
Yeah, everybody want to know about them options. So stock is like when you buy ownership of a company, So it's like you buy one share. Options is you're never really owning the stock, but you're buying a contract where you have a future price. So the price point, like let's say Apple is $100, right? And you buying an option for, let's say, January 2022, right? So it's like a year in advance. So I'm buying a $120 option. So I'm buying it with the anticipation that it's going to go up.
Right.
So it's like you're planning in the head. That's what's called a call. A put is when you do on the reverse side. So a put is like, okay, it's $100, but I'm buying an $80 put, meaning I think the stock is going to go down. So the stock doesn't actually ever have to reach what we call the strike price, the call or the put, to actually make money. It just has to trend in that direction. This is what happened with the GameStop situation. So quickly about that, like this big time investor, he they hedged stock, so he put a put on it and then put news out. But then when the Wall Street Bets crew came,
3 million of them.
Yeah, they raised the price crazy. So by them raising the price crazy, they actually did what's called a short squeeze. They forced him out of his position because he was betting that the stock was going to go down. The stock kept going up. So as the stock is going up, he's losing money. So eventually, you're going to have to sell your position, or you're going to be left just with zero. So he got short squeezed out of the position. So yeah, stock options is something that's really popular now because it's like the potential for gains. Like a regular stock, you can make 10%. Like let's say it went from 100 to 10 to 110, you made 10%. But that same 100 to 110 with the stock options, you could potentially make 100%.
Yeah.
Because you want to
yeah. So when you're buying a stock option, it has a bid and an ask, right? So the ask won't be the stock price. So if Apple was 100, the bid might be, let's say, $2. Right, if that $2, when the stock goes up to 110 or 120, if that $2 bid now turns into $10, you done made 800%, 700% almost, right, on something, just a trend. So that's what people got to really understand. It's really about the trend. If it trends up, you're going to make money. If it trends down, you're going to lose money based on what you put, a call or a put.
Proceed, like B.I.G. said, strictly for live men, not for freshmen.
Not for freshmen.
Like proceed with caution. Just do your research, because especially short-term options, you could lose. It's very volatile. Long-term options is less risky. Just make sure you understand what you're doing, because a lot of people jumping in losing options money. And they losing money because they don't fully understand what they're doing.
If I ask you right now, right, if Apple's at $135. In 2 years, you think Apple can be $150? You would say what?
Yeah.
So that's like in 2 years. So think about that. That's a long-term investment in the stock option world. Not in the stock world. Long-term would be 5, 10, 20 years, or you never sell it. But in a short-term, 2 years, for it to get to raise $15 with all the products, all right, I'm willing to say it can do that.
Like, I'm going to give you a play real quick that I did personally. So QQQ, that the ETF I was telling you about, is averaged 20% a year for the last 10 years. 20% a year every year for the last, no, not every year, but average 20% a year for the last 10 years, right? So I put a December 2023 call. So that's almost 4 years out, right? And I got it at 315. I put the call for 345. I did this like 2 months ago. So that's only like 10% jump. So all I needed for it to go was to jump 10% in 4 years. So if it's average 20% for 10 years, what's the odds of it not doing 10% for 4 years? Almost impossible.
Right.
So it's already at, I think, like 320, something like
that's
that.
like 335 right now.
335. So it's not even that, but I'm already up 45%.
Right.
So by the time that December comes, we're looking at anywhere from a 400%, 800% if I really get lucky, rate of return. The victory is already built in. So now you can see you putting real money in, 400%, 300%. Now we talking a whole different
And that's
game.
what you just said.
Wow.
That's what you just said. Like the woman put in 300% and got 1,500. That's like 500%. Like we shouldn't sneeze at that.
Right.
But if you had put in more, like you said, you would see a greater return. Our boy just hit us. I just made 3,000%.
And that's the game on Wall Street. That's what they really playing. That's how when it's different. The Wall Street money is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not athlete money. It's not rapper money. It's different. And these are kind of like derivatives. These are the kind of words that we need to start to learn because they really playing a whole different ball game and they playing with real money. So now it's like when you start to put millions of dollars, that compound interest looks a lot different.
Yeah.
It's like you at the blackjack table. You at the $5 table, but homie over there at the $10 billion table. He
got
hit
the private
blackjack.
room.
He getting, he doubling that.
That's a fact.
What are the best ways for beginners to invest overall?
Yeah, I think investing, like I said, the ETF route is a great way. Index route, like you're doing, S&P 500, great way. Companies that are just obvious. I'll give you a few. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft.
You might have heard of them.
Google,
Yeah.
PayPal, NVIDIA.
Tesla.
Tesla's a little more volatile. Tesla's going to be here, but
it's not going
you got to have more money and it's a little more volatile situation.
I did good on the airlines.
Okay.
But that's so that even that says to something, right? We know that these things will come back. They're part of our daily lives. Hotel stocks. Mark Cuban said to us last night, casino stocks. Once people have the opportunity to be back out, casinos are going to go crazy. Hotel stocks, Airbnb. We already know that these things exist and they got slowed down because of Corona. When Corona's not done, but we have a better grasp on it, everybody's vaccinated and everybody's the rates go down. Those things are coming back. Cruise ships, those things are coming back. They just hit a wall because of the coronavirus, but they're coming back. So those are things that you look at, like if you're looking down the road, like where should I invest my money maybe for the next 2-3 years and I'm just going to keep it there? Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Talk to us about Bitcoin, because I don't get it.
Bitcoin.
I don't get it at all.
That's the big.
What don't you get about it?
Is it worth investing? Because it feels like it's not anything right now. It's like I'm spending money for a currency that's not even really a currency yet.
Yeah, it's misleading. Cryptocurrency is not a currency because it's like I can't. My haircut costs $20 today and then it's $50 tomorrow. You can't a dollar. It has to be stable. So there are some stable coins, but Bitcoin is not really a currency. It's more of a store of value, similar to gold. That's why they call it digital gold. That's just my personal opinion. Bitcoin's here to stay. It's here to stay because it's like. It's indestructible. We saw it was at $3,000 in March. It's at $50,000 right now. So it's been through ups and downs. It's crashed. Governments tried to stop it. And what really solidified it for me is when you see all the institutional money going. So when you see Elon Musk put $1.5 billion of Tesla money into Bitcoin, when you see Jamie Dimon, who's the head of Chase Bank, a couple years ago, he was talking about how Bitcoin was trash. At the same time, Chase Bank was buying millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Hedge funds. All of these institutions are piling money into Bitcoin. This is one of the reasons why it keeps going up. So they're not stupid. They're doing this for a reason. And currency is already kind of like digital if you really think about it. Only 18% of actual money in circulation is physical money. It's either debit cards, credit cards, PayPal, Cash App. So the idea is not that foreign as far as cryptocurrency. So I personally feel like Bitcoin is here to stay. Now, its use case still has to be worked out. Because if I'm not paying for something with Bitcoin because it's an investment, why would I pay you for something when I think it's going to go up? So that still has to kind of be figured out. Like, what is it actually going to be? Is it ever going to actually be used as currency, or is it just going to be the new gold?
Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin itself will be the currency coin. I think something like XRP has a better chance, like a Ripple has a better chance, just because of, like you said, institutional money being behind it and its functionality. Its functionality is to make transactions quicker, right? We always give that example. If you had to get $1 million from New York City to London, what would be the fastest way?
If I had to do it the fastest way,
Yeah.
transfer it over from my account.
No,
Nope.
the fastest way would be get on a plane with it and fly to London.
Yep.
right? It wouldn't take you 7 to 10 days to get
Ain't
that
not
money.
letting you on no plane with no millions.
Well, I mean,
No,
you got
I'm
a private
saying, but
plane.
that's the only. Like I'm saying.
A private plane.
So that would be
yeah.
the fastest way to do it. You'd
Right.
have to wait 7 to 10 days. When you have an XRP, that transaction can happen in less than 60 seconds.
Right.
Right. And there are people who have that type of capital who need to make those type of investments and make those type of transactions. They don't have 7 to 10 days. If you got a real estate deal and you need that money in by the next 5 days, you can't wait 7 to 10 or
Not
even
at all.
14. You need to get that money there as fast as possible.
But even XRP is still not stable. It's still a stable coin.
Right.
What Mark Zuckerberg could have did was literally taken over the world, and they stopped him because it's like when Facebook put that coin out. I don't know,
Libra
the
coin.
Libra. You heard that before?
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was. It was.
I remember the currency coin. I remember
it was going to be a stable coin. Stable coin is like it doesn't move.
Right.
So that's perfect for currency because it's the same. So you got to realize Facebook has over 1 billion users, right? So imagine if they was going to put out their own native stable coin, and then you have products. They overnight are Amazon, and they're the biggest country in the world at that point. Like China, they rival in China with their own currency. Imagine if one platform has 1.2 billion users with their own currency. That's crazy.
They'd have locked Mark Zuckerberg under the jail.
Well,
they'd have found a reason.
They stopped it.
Exactly.
They
They
stopped
would
it.
have
They
found
stopped it.
some reason to lock his. Hey, they treated him like Gaddafi in Libya. Like, I'm serious.
They stopped him.
They stopped them.
Well, give everybody your information so they can make sure they following you and getting up on everything that's new. And
Yeah. Earn Your Leisure across all social media platforms. Shout out to See the God. Definitely partnered on the iHeart
Black-
situation.
yeah, Black Effect Network.
We haven't even announced that yet. I wanted to do it on here on your platform. So, yeah, check us out on all podcast streaming services. And, yeah, that's it, man. Earn Your Leisure across all social media platforms, YouTube. And once again, I want to thank y'all brothers for inviting us.
And, you know, it says something about culture, right? Because I was talking to my man Chad from the 85 South Show.
Chad's
Right?
my
That's our
guy.
guy.
And
That's
this
our
is
guy.
like last summer when we was trying to figure out how to partner with 85 South Show, and Chad was like, yo, you know who y'all need to holler at? Rashad and Troy at Earn Your Leisure. And I'm like, word? And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, man, them brothers is giving out free jewelry that the community needs, whatever. I was like, well, yo, connect me with one of them. Come and he connect you with Rashad. So it was just, you know, that's culture. You know what I mean? That's Chad from the 85 South Show putting me on to y'all.
That's our
you
guy.
know?
I actually remember that moment. When you called, I'm like, that's Charlamagne's on the phone? I was like, yo.
Let me see.
And I had known y'all because I had saw the episode with Shaq.
But let me say this too before we leave. Your reputation precedes itself. Literally from Wallow to Mandy to Chad, I never heard anybody that said anything bad about you. Everybody said the same thing. Yo, you're a stand-up dude. And when I spoke to you, it was like I knew you for 20 years. Like you just a real humble dude. So I appreciate that.
Man.
And we
you're
got
asking the wrong people. That's why.
and also I would be remiss if we didn't thank Envy as well because he was the first celebrity. Like we've had Shaq, we've had Mark Cuban, but he got the ball rolling for that. And he was a man of his word.
That was a moment.
Troy met him up in Dykeman. He said he was going to do it, and a week later, a lot of times people would like spin you, give you assistance
He's
and all
looking
that.
like, for real?
This nigga really Dominican. He was at Dykeman?
You remember that? It was, but,
Did I have white jeans on?
nah, you didn't have white jeans. But it was a moment. It was like those, like when people say just be in the room, just be in the room. It was crazy. We were doing it. I had our program go to Foot Locker, just as a tour. My wife was working there at the time, and some of the guys that recognized me from the podcast, they were like, "We're having this event. We're opening a store in Washington Heights. Listen, Envy's going to be there. You should show up." I'm like, "All right." I want to, yeah, let's go. And so I'm like, I got to get in this room. And I see him. He's walking there. He was with your daughter at the time. And he walks past me and I'm like, nah, this isn't the time. I don't want to interrupt the man when he's with his family. And so I went up to him after he was sitting down for a while. I'm like, hey. And he was like, I know who you guys are. Yeah. I said, we would love to have you on. He was like, let's do it. Have Matt hit it up and we'll set it up. A week later, we got it done. And I'm like, yeah, that was so stand up because, again, the first guy, we had interviewed a lot of people, but that was the first person that was like, celebrity that we had on the show, and it was a big moment for us. So again, appreciate you, bro.
Hold on, I got two things I want to do before we get out of here. I want to shout out, since we talking about Don Peoples and other people, because I know they're going to be Googling Don Peoples, got to shout out Cheryl McKissack Daniels. She's the CEO and president of McKissick, and McKissick is the oldest black-owned and female-run construction company in the United States. And a couple years ago, they had got the contract to do the new construction at LaGuardia and the new Terminal 1 at JFK. So just shouting out people who, you know,
shout out to her.
We don't talk about, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And my last question is, what are the greatest financial myths we've been taught in the black community?
The greatest financial myth, I think, is that the harder you work, you know, that's going to lead to success. And it's like, shout out to my bro Wall Street Trapper. He said something that was so profound to me. It's like, coming from working class environments, we all know people that work 2 jobs. Pretty common, right? Even 3 jobs sometimes, overnight shifts. And you really think about it, I never met one person that worked 2 jobs that had more money than somebody that worked 1 job. I never met one person that worked 2 jobs that had money. They still broke. And it's like the reason is because you're trading your time for money, and that's not really how to get money. You got to have your money work for you. Like, and that's really the greatest myth I think that we've been taught is like money doesn't grow on trees. You got to work hard. But
That's it.
It's really crazy because it's like, nah, not really. Your money has to work hard for you, because the harder you work for money, you're just going to burn yourself out, and you're still gonna be broke at the end of the day. So like I had a friend of mine, I'll never forget, and he was like, this was like 10 years ago, and he's older than me, but he was like probably 30 at the time, and he was like, I wish I would have been a firefighter. And no disrespect, I love firefighters, or we come from blue class working environments. But the point is, I'm like, why do you want to be a firefighter? Like, it's a dangerous job. He's like, just do a quick 30 years, you get your pension and you retire. And I'm thinking to myself, like, quick 30. That's your life. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's how we taught, like, just work a job just to get a pension. But it's like, it's so crazy because it's like, if you put $6,000 into a Roth IRA for your child at 14 years old, right? And let's say it grows 12%. By the time they're 60 at retirement, there'll be $1.1 million in it. So you could literally make your child a millionaire with $6,000. And now people is literally trading their whole life to get a pension, to retire. You could set your child up for $6,000 when they're 14, have $1.1 million. Like, don't even worry about your retirement. It's already there. Focus on what you want to do in life. How many of us gave up our whole dreams, our whole life to have a pension, to have some security, and we still don't have security? So for me, that's the greatest myth.
I think mine's the same along those lines. It was like every especially from a West Indian standpoint. My parents are Jamaican. It was like save your money, save your money, save your money. Put it in the bank, save your money, until you grow and realize like, the people that you're telling us to save the money with aren't doing that at all.
They invest in your money.
They invest in your money, right? So if you ever try to go to the bank and say, hey, I need $20,000, they're going to tell you, hey, we need, you got to give us a 2-day warning. We need to know that you're coming to get that type of capital. And it was like, wait, if I have $20,000 in my account, why can't I get it out? It's because they're using the money to invest, right? They're making interest on it, and you're making nothing on it. And so when you start thinking about that, it's like, that can't be the route. So it's along those same lines, invest your money. And Fernando said that to us too. He's probably the first person I had heard say it. I treat every dollar like a worker. If I had to work for you, now you have to go work for me. And so he's like, look, I don't want to be cash rich. I have to have every dollar working. We need to make money every day. And so when you start getting that mindset, like I said earlier, it changes the game for you.
Yep.
I got one more question, and I'm not even. I just want to hear what y'all answers are. I'm not even going to reply to it. Can black compassionate capitalism save the black community?
Compassionate capitalism. I like how you put that.
Good.
Yeah, I think it could definitely help change. I mean, there's a lot of things that when you say save the community, that's a broad statement, but it definitely can help. Economic empowerment is the most important thing in my opinion, and that's something that we never fully understood or figured it out. And even like Martin Luther King's, he didn't get killed because he had a dream. He got killed because he woke up he saw, how disenfranchised his last couple years. That was his main thing, economic empowerment. The poor people's movement. And so this is something that we never have. We still don't have to this day an economic structure in place. And every other community has that. So in order for us to have ever some level of respect on a large scale, we have to take control of our finances, because there's, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, as far as like, you can buy politicians, you can influence different things, but without economic structure, none of that is going to happen. And I mean, capitalism is where we're at right now. So this is the game that we're in as American citizens. So either you partake in it or you don't partake in it. But I personally don't have a problem with capitalism if it's done ethically, if it's done correctly, because I feel like, everybody should have the ability to take care of their family, and to, you should be compensated for your services in a very respectable, high manner, as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I feel like we're the living embodiment, everybody in this room, right? What you're doing as an entrepreneur, what you're doing as an entrepreneur, even what Angela Yee's doing as an entrepreneur, we're the living embodiment of that dream of economic empowerment. And like you said, a lot of people, a lot of communities are able to change things, policies, because they have the capital to sway, right? They can have the capital. If we don't have the capital, we have to live with the conditions that they've given us. And so the economic empowerment, but also the mindset too. We got to have those two things. I don't know if it saves, but it starts the conversation of drastic change.
Damn. Rashad and Trey, we need y'all, man. Two of the most important voices we got in our culture, for real, man.
Thank y'all so much
we
for
need this
stopping through, man.
information.
Appreciate
continue
that.
to teach this youth, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Earn your leisure. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.